Hanover College is a great place for people to find their personal talents and have the opportunity to share those talents with the rest of the campus community. Today we will talk with a student who has had the chance to share beautiful music with Hanover's campus for 4 years now. Welcome to HC Student Spotlight, where each week we learn more about a student organization and what's going on here at Hanover College. I'm your host, Allison Craig. Today we will talk with the senior who plays in the Hanover College Orchestra. I'm here today with Elizabeth Hartman.
Hello.
Thank you for coming today, Elizabeth.
Of course.
First, I know that you've been playing this instrument for 12 years, but tell me a little bit about it and why you love it.
Well, I've played a few instruments over the years, but I've always stuck with the bass. There's something about that low E string. No other instrument has that sound. No other instrument can get that low and just vibrate your body like that.
Right.
So that's why I stay with it.
I'm sure you've performed in front of multiple audiences at your high school and Christmas performances here and your own personal performances, but I'm going to ask you today to perform for us here on Student Spotlight if you don't care.
All right, I can do that. Thankfully, I've got a bass right here.
First, can you tell us what song you're going to play?
This is something I've played for contests before. It's a piece called Melody, and it's by Massenet.
Okay. That sounded great.
Thank you.
I know that you've been playing, you played for 12 years, but that sounded so great. You must still practice. How much do you practice a week about?
I do still practice, and it definitely varies. For instance, we recently had a student recital, and so at that point I was practicing about maybe 10 hours a week. However, you know, as a senior, there's always lots of stuff going on, grad school applications, so I try to at least get in there and practice a few hours a week.
Okay. I know there are multiple bands that students can join here at Hanover, such as the jazz, orchestra, concert. Can you tell me why you picked the orchestra?
I've played for all of the instrumental groups at Hanover, but I stick with the orchestra because first it works with my schedule the most, and it's a classical repertoire, and that's probably the music that I enjoy playing the most.
Okay. There are maybe students out there that want to play an instrument, but they haven't joined because they think their instrument won't fit for some reason. Can you tell me about some other interesting instruments that you've played or that you've seen played in bands here?
Well, I have to say that Dr. Mirzak is usually willing to work with you on things like that. For instance, it's not really, traditional for a double bass to be with a concert band, but he even wanted me to play, not only allowed me to play, but wanted me to play. I know that there is a harp that the orchestra program recently acquired, so someone could pick that up. Dr. Mirzak is willing to work with people on that.
That's awesome. One of the points of this show is to let students know that there are many great activities to be involved in at Hanover. Can you tell me about how you personally became involved with the band at first?
Soon after I was accepted at Hanover College, I got an email from Dr. Mirzak. He usually does a really good job of recruiting new students. He's always very active in that. And so if for some reason Dr. Mirzak hasn't gotten to someone that he knows plays an instrument, I'm sure he always loves people to come in and play. So if you know how to play, go talk to him.
Okay. You said earlier that you spend hours practicing and playing your bass, and I know that you're a senior and you're applying for grad school and you have so much stuff going on. How does that work in with balancing school and other activities?
Playing the bass?
Yes.
I find it, honestly, when you get things that differ so greatly from your usual schoolwork, that it's really a stress reliever. So when I do things like play the bass or play my other instruments, play bari, my baritone ukulele, that's not extra work. That's something to get away from the work that I already have.
Okay. Are you involved in anything else on campus?
I've been involved with Love Out Loud. I've worked at the LGBT Center. I've been involved with the Feminists of Hanover College. I work for multiple professors on archival projects, so keep busy.
Yeah. That's a lot to handle right now, it seems. But from talking with you, it seems like you're doing a great job balancing it all. And you said that, playing is a stress reliever. Do you think it's made you an overall better student?
I do. I think that it's important for liberal arts majors especially to realize and just recognize that written language and spoken language is not the only way to communicate effectively. And so I think that something like music, something like dance, those are things that are important for all of our educations. It's another way of
expressing yourself.
Yep.
I know when there's a band performance here on campus, it gets shown on the campus channel, Channel 22. So I'm sure you've been on some of those performances, but can you tell me some about your favorite performances here at Hanover or anywhere else?
Oh gosh, I have to say that I have a lot of fond memories. There's this organization called the Indiana State School Music Association. So during high school, every year you will go to a school, and all of these different students are together, and then you go into a room and you play your piece, and you get a score, and you of course then get a nice little medal. That's a really good experience for everyone.
So that's been one of your favorites?
That's probably been one of my favorites.
That's
but
awesome.
The student recitals that Dr. Mirzak does, anyone can play that's interested, and that's always a good experience as well.
Well, I'm wondering, for people like me who've never been able to play instruments or read music or be in a band, how do people go about joining, and is there a limit to how many people who can be in the band at Hanover?
I really don't think that there's a limit or something like that. Since music is something that it's not as advertised for Hanover College. It's not something that's very competitive like you would see at, say, like IU School of Music. So that's really a good thing in a sense, because it allows anyone who wants to play to be able to play.
Right, okay. That is good information for anyone who's looking to come to Hanover or is here now but they want to participate in the band. If someone maybe didn't know how to play but they wanted to, where would they go to maybe learn at Hanover?
Dr. Mirzak is always willing to work with students. He will give private lessons. So if there's an instrument that you're willing to pick up, for instance, I don't own a bass. So the only reason that I'm able to play is because the orchestra program is nice enough to let me use the school bass.
That's awesome.
So that's a pretty standard thing. We have a lot of instruments that people can pick up if they're interested.
And use the schools?
Yes, absolutely. I wouldn't be able to play if it wasn't for that.
Yeah, you said you're applying for grad schools and you're already married and you have a busy future plan, but where does playing the bass fit into all that after graduation?
Well, don't tell my dad, but the plan is to perhaps ask for a bass for my graduation present. I really do hope to continue playing, and even if it's not the bass, then to continue playing music. It's something that's really important to life. I don't think I could live without it.
So you don't think they'll just let you take that with you?
Unfortunately, no. And I think that if it, just kind of randomly disappeared when I graduated, I think they would know it was
They
me.
might catch on. Yeah. Well, you played a wonderful song for us today, Elizabeth, and you shared your experiences about managing school and your social life and the orchestra, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come in today. Would you mind playing one more song?
I can do that for you, something a little bit more modern.
Sure, and before she begins, I want to thank you for watching this episode of HC Student Spotlight, and be sure to tune in next time. I've been your host, Allison Craig. Awesome. Thank you for coming.